Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. Fhima, the Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 star, disclosed her relationship status with Gary Levingston following their surprise removal from the show. When Gary arrived in Paradise, he invited Leslie out on a date, and the two had a great time dancing the night away. Gary and Leslie were in the top 3 during one of the Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 compatibility tasks, but Gary spent too many chips on his final question, dropping them to the bottom 3 at the end of the game. Bailey Brown and Jeremy Simon had won the task, thus they were able to determine which couple would be removed. Because the women were handing out roses that week, Bailey had the authority to send home one of the bottom 3 couples, Gary and Leslie, Kim and Faith Martin, or Brian Otts and Parisa. After much deliberation, Bailey decided to eliminate Leslie and Gary, therefore ending their experience in Costa Rica. Leslie updated the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast listeners about her romance with Gary. She stated that he is presently one of her greatest friends, and they communicate all the time, but she is unsure if they will be more than that because they have not seen each other. Leslie explained, "We talk all the time. We chat. We were at the premiere in Los Angeles, enjoying the show together. Gary is currently one of my best buddies. I mean, he is, and I'll call him if I have an issue. He talks me down a little bit. We are always there for each other. We have each other's backs." However, Leslie feels uncertain about her romantic future with Gary. She explained, "I don't know because we haven't spent time together. We live in 2 different cities. I'm not sure what it could be. All I know is that, for me, the most important aspect of any relationship, especially a romantic one, is that we be friends first, because I want to grow old with my best friend." Leslie went on to state that she and Gary care deeply about each other, saying, "So, that is a huge thing for me, and I don't know what it's going to be, but I know that we have special places in our hearts for each other, and that's all I can say right now." Although it is disheartening to see that Leslie and Gary are no longer dating following Bachelor in Paradise Season 10, it is wonderful to know that they have become best friends. They had an instant connection, and it was clear that there was something unique about them. However, Leslie and Gary face the same challenge as other golden couples, such as Jerry Turner and Teresa Nist and Joan Vassos in Chalk Chapel, how to make their relationship's logistics work. It is quite difficult for the golden contenders because the majority of them are unwilling to leave their family and move. Although Joan and Chalk are content with their long-distance relationship, this issue contributed to Jerry and Teresa's decision to divorce after only 3 months of marriage. Leslie and Gary should be able to figure out how to make their relationship work because they appear to be a perfect match. Leslie is understandably afraid to continue seeing Gary after her heart was broken as Jerry's runner-up on The Golden Bachelor. If she's uncertain, she'll probably want to guard her heart, which is entirely understandable. Leslie's statement that she wants to be friends with her partner first bodes well for her relationship with Gary. They undoubtedly have a deep bond, which will hopefully develop into something more. Both Leslie and Gary deserve the love they've been looking for, and it would be wonderful to see them find it in each other. After the cameras stopped rolling and the dramatic elimination in Costa Rica became part of the latest batch of Bachelor in Paradise episodes, Fhima found herself back in Minneapolis, staring at the falling autumn leaves outside her window and wondering what might have been. The experience had felt surreal. She hadn't expected Gary Levingston to show up in Paradise at all, let alone sweep her off her feet so effortlessly during their first date. When he had arrived, dressed in his signature laid-back button-down shirt and a twinkle in his eye, she had felt that rush again, that familiar pull she'd experienced on the very first day they met on The Golden Bachelor. It had been a whirlwind. Paradise wasn't designed for people like them, not really. The majority of the cast were in their 20s and 30s, jumping in and out of romances like teenagers at a summer camp. But Leslie and Gary? They were grown, seasoned by love, loss, and life. And yet, amidst the backdrop of tropical sunsets, piña coladas, and the soundtrack of crashing waves, they'd felt like teenagers themselves, laughing, flirting, slow dancing under the stars, ignoring the judgmental stares of their younger castmates. The compatibility game had felt lighthearted until it wasn't. Gary had gotten competitive, trying to impress Leslie with his boldness, but had overspent their chips on the final round. Leslie had laughed at first, brushing it off with a quick kiss on his cheek in a teasing, "Way to blow it, cowboy." But when Bailey Brown announced her decision, sending them both home, it hit them like a cold slap. The abruptness of it all, the bags being packed, the hugs goodbye, the looming disappointment, it shattered the rhythm they'd just begun to create together. Back in the real world, distance quickly became their biggest hurdle. Gary lived in Palm Springs, while Leslie had her roots firmly planted in Minneapolis. She had her children, her grandchildren, her Pilates clients, and her routines. Gary, on the other hand, had been rekindling a sense of self after the emotional roller coaster of his golden bachelor journey and his brief engagement that had ended almost as quickly as it began. They didn't rush into anything after Paradise. They couldn't. Still, they talked. Sometimes daily, sometimes sporadically, depending on their schedules. Gary would send her photos of his hiking trails, and Leslie would respond with videos of her granddaughter learning to roller skate. On particularly hard days, they would call. Gary had a way of grounding Leslie, reminding her to take a breath when the world spun too fast. She admired his calm, his patience. He, in turn, loved her fire, her zest for life and refusal to settle. Their fans hadn't let the connection die either. Social media lit up after their departure from the show. Edits of their date to soft instrumental piano music circulated on TikTok. Clips of them laughing together during the compatibility challenge had been stitched into montages labeled Golden Love Goals. Some fans even dubbed them the real endgame of the season, praising their authenticity in a sea of influencer-driven chaos. In one episode of the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast, Leslie opened up more than she ever intended to. She didn't plan to reveal how close she and Gary had remained or how her heart fluttered when his name popped up on her phone. But the words poured out. "We talk all the time," she had said, eyes welling just a bit. "Gary's one of my best friends. Truly." And that kind of connection you don't find that often, especially at this stage in life. Thanks for watching. If you likes this video, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and do not miss any update.